Hi everyone, my name is Carrie O'Brien and I do the digital marketing for the Digivac company. Today I'm going to present to you our Vacuum Gauge 2.0 app, which is our Bullseye app, our Bullseye Precision Gauge app to be specific. And it's a mobile app that allows you to view your vacuum readings on your smartphone or tablet. So on the agenda today, I'll give you an overview of the app and why we decided to create a mobile app for a vacuum gauge. I'll give you some of the benefits of the app. I'll give you some specifications and the supported platforms, and I'll answer a few questions that we've received about the app since it's been created. So why the Vacuum Gauge 2.0 app was created? It's the second release of our Vacuum Gauge app, which was Vacuum Gauge 1.0. And we wanted to extend the functionality of the Bullseye Precision Gauge, the unit itself. And we wanted to improve on the original version of the app and make it even easier to monitor your vacuum systems when away from the lab. So to view how the app visually has evolved over time, on the left you have the original Vacuum Gauge app with the interface that has the bullseye in the center. And for those of you who have the bullseye, have this version of the app on your phone currently, you know that that bullseye will pulse when it's reading vacuum, and it will show you the vacuum reading itself right on the screen above that. In the new version of the app, you can see the Wi-Fi-like symbol of the connection to Bluetooth in the center of the screen, and you can see the vacuum reading in the same display as the original version above that connection. So the app is used for a number of different reasons, and it's used for 48-hour pump-down data collection during transformer dryouts. It's also used to see pump-down progress for freeze dryers and vacuum ovens while you're away, whether you're at lunch or in a different part of the building checking another system being tested under vacuum. And it allows the commercial technician that wants to monitor a pump down of a rooftop gauge unit in Chicago while they're working on something else on the other side of town to do so. In other words, if you're in one location and testing the vacuum system, but you need to go out of state for a few days, say you're going to a conference or to another testing location, and you want to monitor your vacuum, you still want to monitor your system. With the 2.0 app, you can now check your vacuum system from a farther location than the Bluetooth 300-foot range, and I will address that further later on in this presentation. It also allows for mobile recordings of composite manufacturing where it's inconvenient to plug something in. So in that sense, if you're monitoring the vacuum pressure within a unit that can't have the system have the sensor plumb directly into the system, with the app directly next to it, you can still monitor your vacuum along the lines of Bluetooth connection. And it's good for altitude simulation, in which the app includes a pressure unit of feet. This pressure measurement is only available on the app. The gauge doesn't have it itself, but it allows you to monitor the vacuum in an altitude simulation. And you can see in the image I brought up to the left how the cloud-based system works. You would plumb the gauge into a system, say on a boat, as displayed in the image, and you would connect the system, you would connect the unit to the Bluetooth app via turning the Bluetooth on, and you would then hit share with Digivac on the app, and you would create a customer gauge login or customer ID and gauge ID, which would allow you to create a login for that. And it would read to the Digivac cloud, which is vacuumnetwork.org. You would log in with the credentials you created on the computer or a smartphone, and then you can view your vacuum system from a further location. So in this sense, the boat would be out in the ocean, and somebody at tugboat headquarters could see the vacuum system on their desktop computer even though they're far away from the gauge. And the other image is the weatherproof bullseye app, not app, I apologize, gauge, in which the gauge itself is placed in a plastic enclosed case to protect it from more weather conditions than the original bullseye would be able to do, would be exposed to. So unique features of Vacuum Gauge 2.0 are that it visually displays real-time pump down curves. It displays the vacuum readings in a large and easy to read display right on your phone or tablet. It allows you to quickly share vacuum data and recordings over a number of seconds or days, and you can do this via the cloud, which is vacuumnetwork.org, or you can send a quick email with a CSV file or graph to your colleagues. It allows you to see real-time graphing right on your phone, and it allows you to monitor pressure within a certain range by setting high and low alarm set points. These alarm set points would sound if the pressure goes above or below the number you determined, and it would require manual shutoff in order to quiet down, because the logic there is if the pressure rises above the set point that you have determined and you're not near the vacuum system itself, but by the time you return, the vacuum system has returned to a range within the acceptable level, and the alarm went off, you wouldn't know that it sounded. So having it require manual shutoff would allow you to know and understand that your vacuum system went out of range for a period of time, and then it would alert you to look at the CSV file. So it also allows you to compare pressures in different measurement units. You can have your gauge reading one measurement unit, say millitorr, but you can have your app reading in feet, and that way you can test the vacuum system against something that would require a reading in torr, or an altitude simulation that would require a measurement unit of feet. It also allows you to simply look at the units if you needed to or view your vacuum system in different units if you need to switch between locations and where the testing is taking place, or discuss the readings with somebody else who understands a different measurement unit than what you were testing in. It also allows you to easily share your pressure readings with colleagues by sending a CSV file via email to them, or providing them with the vacuumnetwork.org credentials. So the way this would work is you have the real-time graph on the far left, in which it's reading the measurement pressure, or the pressure measurements in the time of minutes, and you would hit share, and you would then name your graph and decide how you want to share, like which email type you'd like to share it as, and then you would set up an email with the graph as an attachment, and it would be sent off to your colleagues for them to view from a different location. Other unique features of the Vacuum Gauge 2.0 app in terms of graphing are that you can see your vacuum pressure displayed graphically, which in the visual format might be easier for some people than reading a list of numbers. It allows you to visualize vacuum trends and how they've changed over the course of the predetermined sets of 10 or 25 seconds, 1 or 5 minutes, or 1 hour or 24 hours. It also allows you to share the trends with your colleagues in an easy to understand way. Aside from just simply sharing it, if you're sharing it in the graphing format, it might be easier for them to quickly look at it and alert them if there is a problem. And you can see on the image I just brought up a graph of a vacuum reading in which the pressure rises and drops multiple times. And you would hit share in the lower left, and that would bring up the email options. To address more of the features in terms of data logging, The app allows you to collect data at a rate of 1 second, 1 minute, or 1 hour. And you can email the CSV file with all of the logs over the course of time to your colleagues and yourself. What I mean by with all of the logs is your history on the app will not delete itself. It will remain active from the time you start collecting data to when you decide to clear your cache. If you never clear your cache, you can get your measurement units from day 1 to the day you're currently testing at, whether it be day 500 or day 5,000. You can see your measurement units from that point. It also allows you to share with vacuumnetwork.org, which, as I've stated, is considered the DigiVac cloud. And you would begin collecting data by selecting, by switching data off to data on in the upper left-hand corner of the home screen. And then you would hit share, name your graph, and go through the same process of sending it via any of the options that pop up. So the benefits of Vacuum Gauge 2.0 are that you can share vacuum data around the world. You can connect technicians, operators, and engineers to the vacuum process with ease. It's no longer complicated to get everybody involved in what the vacuum system is doing. It also graphs vacuum readings to aid in quickly identifying trends. So what's the trend of your vacuum system, and how is pressure rising and dropping? Is it good or bad? And this is just a screenshot of Vacuum Gauge or vacuumnetwork.org, in which you would log in with your customer ID and gauge ID, and then you can view the readings as they appear every 10 seconds because the system updates every 10 seconds. Sorry, I apologize. And then the specifications of Vacuum Gauge 2.0 are that it has gauge compatibility with a number of different bullseye gauges. All of our Bluetooth gauges are our bullseye precision gauges. So that would be the bullseye precision gauge with Bluetooth. It would be the bullseye precision gauge Pirani and the bullseye precision gauge Piezo. Those are all gauges that have Bluetooth capabilities. It's important to note that the bullseye precision gauge, there's both a Bluetooth and non-Bluetooth option, so you would want to specify Bluetooth if you're interested in using the app. It has, I apologize, the availability of the app itself is within Google Play right now. It's a free app. It's not available in the Apple Store just yet, but we will be releasing an Apple version in the future. It allows you to use the real-time viewing and sharing of your vacuum system, and it has supported platforms on different mobile phones and Android devices that I will address in the next slide. So the supported platforms for Vacuum Gauge 2.0 are mobile phones and tablets with Android 4.3 Jelly Bean and higher, and Bluetooth LE 4.0. We've tested this app on various Samsung devices, including the S4, Galaxy Tab 4, S5, Tab 5, and the Note 5. And we've also tested on LG Nexus 4, which was running Android 4.4.4. We've tested in the LG Optimum Zone 2.0, the LG V10, LG Pad 2 10.1. We've tested on a number of devices, and it has worked consistently throughout. It's also, the first release is, as I stated, only within Android's Google Play. And these are just some of the devices that you can get the app on. They include the Samsung S5, the LG Tab 10, Tab 10.1, and the LG V10. A few frequently asked questions that we've gotten from customers are, how long can the app run without crashing? And that's important to know. And we've been running the Vacuum Gauge 2.0 app on one of our systems for over 4 months without any crashing. We've turned it off and turned it on for various reasons within our shop, but it hasn't crashed and lost any data. And then why is my alarm still sounding even though the pressure returned to an acceptable level? And the answer there, as I stated previously, is that it requires manual shutoff by a technician to make sure that they're aware that an increase or decrease in the pressure did indeed occur. And then if I switch my measurement units on the app, will it automatically update on the gauge? No. If you switch the measurement units on the app from a measurement unit that is the same as what's reading on the gauge, that unit will only change on the app. It won't change on the gauge itself. An example of that would be if the pressure is reading 999 torr on the app, and you switch the gauge to on the gauge, I apologize, and you switch the app to MBAR, it will read 1,331 MBAR on the app, but the gauge will still be reading 999 torr, which is the conversion of 1,331 MBAR in torr. And then, will an iOS version of Vacuum Gauge 2.0 be released soon? The answer there is yes. Down the road, we will be releasing an iOS version of this app. And can you use the same customer and gauge ID for multiple gauges? And the answer there is, at this time, you cannot use the same customer and gauge ID for a number of gauges, but in the future, you'll be able to do so. We're continuously adding updates to vacuumnetwork.org, and that will be a soon to be released feature. So in summary, these are all, first of all of the gauges in which the app can be used. There's the Bullseye Precision Gauge with Bluetooth, the Bullseye Piezo, the Weatherproof Bullseye, and the Bullseye Pirani. And Vacuum Gauge 2.0 is the newest release of the DigiVac Vacuum Gauge app, and it's compatible with the various Bullseye gauges, and it's a solution to vacuum system monitoring when you must leave the test site. So it's something you would use when you can't be around your your vacuum system for an extended period of time, but you need to know what it's reading. So I apologize. Are there any questions regarding this app or the Bullseye Gauge that you'd like to ask right now? No? Okay. I will be sending everybody a copy of this presentation, and I'd like to just thank you for taking the time to tune in and listen to what we have to say about the app. Thank you.